Hello, so today we're going to be talking about the books that I completed in the month of August, as well as talk about the books that I plan on reading in the month of September. So here's a quick look at the books that I read in the month of August. We have a variety of ratings for this one, my goodness. I did not complete all of these. Dust of Dreams is still ongoing and will move on into September as well, but the rest have been completed. So getting right into the reviews, we're gonna start with Silver Elite. This is the book that I started last month, continued on into this month. I had this book club with Amber Elise called the Opposites Attractive Book Club, where two friends with very different reading tastes, we would get together, exchange books. I'd make her read one of my favorites, she'd make me read one of her favorites, and then we would hate each other's favorites and have a fun discussion about it. We had a blast in that book club. And Silver Elite was the next one that she chose for me to read. Then the book club has dissolved. Life is just too busy for us to maintain it at the moment. I did still read Silver Elite though, and this book tried to kill me. I'm not exaggerating. It tried to ruin my love for reading. I'm convinced of it. That was the one goal. That was the purpose of this book. Ruin reading for Murphy. Our main character is Ren, who has silver blood, which means that she has certain abilities, certain modifications, and there's like some really feeble world building that kind of explains who has silver blood and why. But part of what comes with it is that you have certain abilities, and the abilities that Ren has, well, one is telepathy. She can read people's minds, and there's a couple of other things that are kind of revealed a little bit later on. Not like super, it's all relatively soon, but anyway, not in the setup. So she is a part of this group of rebels because, you know, their people are being wiped out. There's literally like the systems that be are hunting down and trying to murder all Silverbloods. So high stakes. So our main character, due to a series of events, ends up being forced into the military system, you know, the very military that is attempting to wipe out her people. She falls in love. She exclusively has relationships with soldiers her entire life, even before she was forced into this situation. She's like, man, if they weren't all trying to kill me, you know, if they weren't going to murder me, if they knew that if I used telepathy, my veins would light up, which she's actually a unique kind of silver blood where her veins don't light up, which gives her a little bit of extra protection. But anyway, if they knew who I was, they would murder me and my entire family. Man, if they weren't that way, then I would probably like them a lot better. My love, find someone else. There are other prospects. Why are you exclusively? It's fine. So the book is Ren is presented with a series of situations, always chooses the dumbest path possible, somehow still survives and still continues raising in the ranks of this incredibly elite system that most people don't make it through. Her behavior is wildly inconsistent. You know, she makes a decision, I'm devoting my life to this today, and then like the very next chapter she's like, or I could not. She falls for a man who treats her like absolute garbage and is also really high up in the ranks of, you know, the ones trying to kill her and all her people. And her whole personality is basically just, I'm angry and I'm horny. The plot of this book is absolute chaos. I mean, scenes will happen, like really intense scenes, like very important things will happen, like, you know, torture, and then the characters just move on. In the next scene, they're like, I'm going to a dance and I'm gonna go do these things, and there's no physical or mental repercussions from scene to scene. Like, you spent 5 days being tortured. We'll never talk about that again or see any sort of carryover into the next scene. I'll not say any more than that because it's probably plenty enough, but I would also like to say that the dialogue in this book is absolutely atrocious. I mean, the scenes between Ren and her love interest, I don't understand. I don't understand, because it was either extremely aggressive and concerning or like crazy cheesy. This isn't my type of book. Enjoy the mild rant for your entertainment, but if you're interested in the book, just go read it, because this isn't my thing. I was destined to not enjoy this one, is what I'm saying. And boy, did I not. 1 star, probably my worst book of the year. Next book I finished was Something Rotten, which was a real big tonal change. I love this series. Jasper Fforde has just won my heart with how he uses language and characters and turn of phrases for the most clever and witty situations and scenes scenes and jokes. Every single scene has me smiling or laughing. I'm like sending quotes to people that aren't even reading the series because out of context, it's still just amazing. The first book in the series is The Heir Affair. This is book 4. Yeah, this is book 4 in the series. I've talked about it a load, so I won't re-pitch the series to you once again. But let me just say, if you enjoy witty, comical books, and especially a series that is living and breathing love for literature, do try it. You know, like even if your humor is different than mine and you're like, you know what, that was a nice time, I'm done now, that's fine. But at least give it a go, because this series to me, this is the perfect series to just kind of pop in between heavier books. Not because it has no substance, but because it's so clever and bright and fun that it makes my day every single time. For me, it goes, I would say book 2 is still the best. Like book 2 is just phenomenal. 1 and 4 are probably equivalent to me. I do tend to have a soft spot for the first book in a series because it's my entry into the world and the humor and the prose and all the prose in the series. But you know, I have a soft spot for 1, but I think 4 is just right there with it because, oh man, there's just so many amazing scenes, incredible characters. A lot of the side characters that I really missed in book 3 have come back into the story and had some awesome scenes, and I grew a new appreciation for a character that's been there for a while, but we got more time with her, and now I love her so much more. So we go book 2, and then books 1 and 4 are right there neck and neck, and then book 3 is a big step down. I didn't love book 3 nearly as, I mean, it was still like a 3-star book, but I didn't love it quite as on the same level as these other books, which have all been right around like 4.5 or 5 stars. Next book I completed is The Rape of Nanking. Now what I've started doing is doing a poll, a community post that is a poll to vote on what book you want to see a dedicated review for on my YouTube channel. And this one won the poll last month, barely won the poll last month. So this one already has a dedicated review. This is a nonfiction chronicling or looking at both from a wide, zoomed out perspective, but also from a very close personal testimonial perspective of the massacre of Nanking. This book is incredibly difficult to read, really, really challenging scenes and chapters, but also incredibly important. It is nonfiction, so I don't personally think that, it's chronicling history, so I don't think that there's spoilers. But regardless, if you're interested in kind of learning more about it, you can check out the dedicated review because I do go over what the book discusses at large, as well as having quotes on screen that go even deeper into each thing. But easily this was the book of the month for me. This is the one that stood out the most to me, that affected me the most, and that I will carry with me the longest. Next book I finished is The Butcher's Masquerade. I actually finished this book today. I delayed this video a day so that I could finish this book for this wrap up. This is book 5 of the Dungeon Crawler Carl series. Each of these books I've done a dedicated reading vlog for. This book will be the same a week from yesterday. There will be, so next week there will be a dedicated vlog for book 5. I haven't recorded my final vlog clip yet, but I've been recording that through the week. I have loved this book so much. This series as a whole, it's a lit RPG, which is not my genre, but so Carl and Donut, his ex-girlfriend's cat, were outside at the time when aliens destroyed the earth and then opened up a tunnel system, a dungeon system, and everyone that survived went into the dungeon and are now having to fight their way through what is essentially a combination of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy and The Hunger Games. It's a game show where those that are over all of this, I'll keep it vague, those that are over all this are just watching the crawlers kill each other. And it's for their glee and entertainment. It's the perfect balance of absurd humor and really strong emotional hits. I mean, book 5 has so many great scenes for that. Everything past book 1 really leans more and more into those emotional hits. But book 5 had some big ones. Certain characters that have felt a little bit neglected to me in previous books are far more in the forefront, even side characters that don't get a ton of page time, but what they do get is really good. Easily, this one is above the last two. Both books 3 and 4 I enjoyed, but were a dip from 1 and 2, my personal interest. But book 5 was right back up there again. Oh my goodness. So much fun, so much humor, and that ending was so good. Final book is one that I did not complete, and that's Dust of Dreams. This is book 9 in the Malazan Book of the Fallen series. I take these books much more slow than I do most series, and Dust of Dreams is going to just carry on over into next month, so I don't have a wrap up for you. I'm just letting you know that I am reading it, and I'll keep reading it into September. I should finish it in September. For sure, though. Okay, next up, let's look at the my reading plans for September. This is most of the books that I plan on reading, but I probably will add one more if I have the time. So this is a quick look at the September TBR. My patrons actually picked 2 books for me this month. I usually just do 1, but they picked 2 this month. We have a literary fiction, a nonfiction, a dark academia / fantasy, and a comedy / mystery. So giving you a brief description for each book, we'll start with A Pale View of Hills, which is going to be my next Ishiguro book. I've been working through his books very slowly with Jimmy and Joanna. Actually, technically, I guess my patrons picked 3 out of the 4 books. No, 4! All 4 of these books were recommended to me by patrons. Anyway, I've been reading through the Ishiguro books slowly with Joanna and Jimmy. And Jimmy's actually read this one, but when I suggested it as our next one, he was like, yeah, do it, we'll still discuss. And Joanna was on board. So we're gonna read A Pale View of Hills as our next one. And I don't know what it's about. It says this is about a Japanese woman now living alone in England, dwelling on the recent suicide of her daughter. Ooh, okay, and it takes place in the wake of World War II. So Ishiguro is an author that I've been slowly reading through his books with, like I said, Jimmy and Joanna. I don't know a lot about this book other than what I just read to you. And I am a little bit, I've had books like Claire and the Sun that for me were 5 stars. Absolutely loved. And then I've had books that are closer to the 3-star range with Ishiguro. But regardless of where his books land for me, there's always so much to discuss. Next month is the nonfiction. It's Midnight in Chernobyl. This is the untold story of the world's greatest nuclear disaster. This one, too, was recommended by a friend. I've heard that this one can get a little bit bogged down in the science aspects of it, explaining like how things really work. But I've also heard that it reads like a thriller or like a script. I think even in the description of this, it says that it reads like a script to a movie. So I think that there's probably going to be a balance of it being really fast read and maybe a little bit in the weeds as well that'll make me slow down, but I've heard mostly good things about it. Now, I mentioned that if I have time, I'm probably going to be adding another book to my plans to read this month, and this is where I would add something more because I am very much on a nonfiction kick right now, especially just going deep into, a historical event. I read Ordinary Men recently. It was one of my favorite books of the year. I read The Rape of Nanking recently. It's going to stay with me forever. And this is just where my interest is right now, is just continuing to get into more historical books. So I have a long list of books that are interesting to me, but the one that's kind of standing out the most, at least right now, is Radium Girls. The Radium Girls is The Radium Girls, which follows these women who were working in radium dial factories and started to realize, how harmful it was and started to speak up, and all that came alongside of that. The reason this one is standing out to me right now is because it's going to be kind of on in a similar vein as Midnight in Chernobyl, and I think it would be interesting to read them back to back, but also the friend that recommended Midnight to me said that this particular account is covered briefly in Midnight, so we'll see if that sparks the interest of just diving right into the other or not. But also, sorry for rambling on, also, I would love for those of you who are interested in this particular bent, please do recommend to me nonfictions, specifically historical nonfictions, that you have read and loved and would be interested in me checking out as well. I'm happy to continue to add books to that ever-growing list that I am interested in picking up here over the next several months. Doesn't have to be on this topic or any topic that I've read recently. really anything, just let me know what your interest is and I'll look into it. Okay, side tangent over. Next book is The Raven Scholar. Every book that I read throughout the month, on my Discord, on my Patreon, we set up a channel on the Discord for discussion for that book. So anyone that wants to join reading that book, we can just discuss in Discord as we read through it. But also there's one book a month that my patrons suggest for me and vote on, and choose a book for us to discuss. And The Raven Scholar is the one that won this month. Very rude to choose a book almost 700 pages that I don't know anything about. Oh, okay, super interesting. So I guess there's like a power vacuum and there's a race to occupy the throne. And we might be following, as far as I can tell from a cursory scan of the description, we might be following a high scholar who is attempting to find the killer and also maybe fight for the throne as well. If she succeeds, we will win an empire. If she fails, death awaits her, but we won't let that happen. Interesting. Okay. I've heard this one has a slow start, so I plan on giving it a good chunk of time before judging it. And finally, we have Dirk Gently's Holistic Detective Agency. This is by Douglas Adams. That's really all I need. We solve the whole mystery. We find the whole person. Phone today and the whole solutions for the whole solution to your problem. Missing cats and messy divorces, a specialty. What? Oh, I'm so excited to read this. Okay, so those are all the books that I read in the month of August, as well as the books that I plan on reading in September, as well as an open door for maybe another book that I'll add in there if I can manage. I do still have to also complete Dust of Dreams, so we'll see if I can add Radium Girls or another book that you suggest. As I did last month, I will have a poll up in the on my community tab on my YouTube channel, letting you vote on what book is going to get a dedicated review this month of the books that are on my TBR. So do let me know what you're interested in a more detailed, focused, spoiler-filled discussion on. And I also have a couple of other videos that I'm pretty excited about this month, as well as next week, again, is the next Carl vlog. Please do chat with me more in the comments about any of these books, if you've read them, if you plan on reading them, if you plan on joining me for any of them. I'll see you again soon. Bye.